coming up. Creating a machine that could destroy tower blocks like Godzilla. This is the Rotar Pulverizer, a 4.5-ton demolition dinosaur. When it's attached to an excavator, this 360-degree rotating head and jaws can chomp through walls for breakfast, reinforce concrete floors for lunch, and steel bars for dinner. If Jurassic Park ever needs a wrecking crew, this is what they turn to.
The Tyrannosaurus Rex had the most powerful bite of anything that's ever lived. But this thing has put it to shame. It's 30 times more powerful.
But creating something tough enough to tackle the daddy of all demolition jobs is the mother of all engineering challenges. How do they do it? Toruń in northern Poland. Founded in the 13th century, this beautiful medieval city is now a protected UNESCO World Heritage Site. But not everyone here is into preservation, because this is where some of the toughest wrecking attachments on Earth are built. This morning, designer Joris Justen is finalising the plans for the huge jaws of the Rotar Demolition Pulverizer. His challenge is to make something that is incredibly strong, but can be wielded with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel.
We have to create a clever machine that can demolish everything that it has to. We have to create to destroy.
Once he's completed his computer-aided designs, the plans are sent down to the company's massive factory floor. The job of turning Joris's 2D images into 3D lumps of metal falls to Roman Pilewski. To do that, he flips down his mask and fires up this laser cutter over a slab of heat-treated super-strong steel. Using the remotely controlled cutting head, Roman slices through metal like a knife through butter. In minutes, he's cut out all the parts the company needs to make the jaws of the pulverizer. The next challenge is welding the lumps together, but in this state, the edges are too rough. So they're handed over to Maciej. He uses an acetylene torch, heating the steel to burning point. The burning steel reacts with oxygen to form molten iron oxide, which drips off like wax, leaving a smooth edge.
Acetylene burns with a really bright light, which was handy when the first cars arrived because the early electric light bulbs weren't bright enough to be used as headlamps, so they used acetylene instead. This is fine until you hit a pothole, because acetylene is explosive.
The parts now need to be bent into shape so they can fit together. But bending steel that's this strong takes more than an oversized pair of pliers. It takes this massive mechanical press. Using a foot pedal, Kot Przemysłowy applies 200 tons of force to each part. The finished parts can now be assembled like a giant model dinosaur. Václav employs a powerful magnet and winch to hoist the sections for the pulverizer's lower jaw into place. Next, he temporarily fixes them together, using a technique called tack welding. But to survive the immense stresses of demolishing buildings, the two halves need a tougher weld than this. If you weld cold metal, it could crack under pressure. So the jaw is placed in this oven. The door's closed. And it's left to slowly bake for 2.5 hours. Once the parts are warm enough, Marcin fully welds the sections together, creating a tough bond that can survive a lifetime of chewing through rubble. But on a demolition site, a tough pair of jaws is useless unless they can swivel to reach into every corner of an old building. And that's where Robert comes in. He's busy using a robot to weld together something called a subhead, the joint between the monster's neck and jaws. This will allow the pulverizer to rotate 360 degrees, bite down and then whip back with 30 tons of force.
Can you imagine a T-Rex that can rotate its head through 360 degrees and clamp its jaw down with maximum force in any direction? It's that.
The parts can now be assembled under the guidance of veteran engineer Jakub Szeroki. He uses a winch to slide the subhead onto a block, holding the lower jaw. Moving jaws this big will take a lot of muscle, and that will be provided by this huge hydraulic cylinder. Once this has been secured, the top jaw is hoisted into position and fixed in place using this massive steel pin. The pulverizer's jaws are now complete. But if you want to chew through a skyscraper for a living, the jaws need a seriously strong set of teeth. These will do nicely. Forged from a custom-made steel alloy, they're 3 times stronger than normal steel. The trouble is, they'll still need replacing once in a while. So like a transformer's dentures, they're designed to be replaced and secured in seconds, using 2 simple pins. After the jaws have been given a lick of red paint, Václav steps in. Like Dr. Frankenstein in dungarees, it's his job to bring the monster to life. Václav attaches hydraulic hoses to the main piston, waits for a lightning bolt, flicks the switch, and it lives. The finished machine is hoisted onto a waiting truck, ready to be sent off around the world. Mounted on an excavator arm, the Pulverizers will soon be doing what it does best: destroying anything in its path.